Right, infernal blessings. I'm back on the road. Just left my Tuesday 9 rounds workout. Got some personal stuff to do now, so I'm gonna shoot another video while I'm driving from point A to point B. So I'm back in the groove this week. Sometimes the weekends might be a little hard for me to post. Got a lot going on with my little guy, hockey, and a bunch of other shit. But anyway, a couple quick announcements. If you want to reach out to me, number one email I get all the time: what kind of classes, how do I sign up, this, that, and the third. Well, real easy. If you want to sign up for my classes, I'll save you the time from having to email me. I'm going to tell you directly, real simple. Go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, which is located at patreon.com/Baniti, which is in the description box of this video. Patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, and join Tier 3. That's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month. We have one more class for this month, which is the 3rd class, which is the Luciferian and Self-Magic class number 9 in an ongoing series. I have a bunch of ongoing series that have been going on for a while. Different subjects. If you're looking to really learn about the occult and the left-hand path, you're going to find something on there. If you're interested in learning about vampirism, I have an ancient Egyptian vampiric class on there. I have a Sith class, which is using the Sith philosophy and model as an occult grimoire and left-hand path practice. I have the Luciferian and Self-Magic Mastery class, the Kundalini Meditation Awakening class, Telepathic Sorcery class. Probably forgetting other shit, but there's a lot. The Eastern Left-Hand Path Occult Mysticism class, which we deal with a lot of Eastern Left-Hand Path occult philosophy, the jinns, Shaitan, Ahriman. It's pretty much nothing I don't cover on there. And stuff constantly being added all the time. So if you really want to find, an area where you could take classes on all these subjects that you really can't find in a lot of other mainstream places, that's where you want to go. All right. Tier 3, patreon.com/Baniti. If you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different types of readings: telepathic demonic readings. I offer Santa Muerte readings, deity readings to see what spirits walk with you, shadow work readings, which is always a great place to start when you're looking for a direction, or you need to know what's going on in your life. Shadow work reading is the way to go. I think I said Egyptian oracle readings. But anyway, for a full list of readings and consultation information, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. If you can't remember everything I said, no worry. Everything's in the description box of the video. Also, 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference is in full effect, people. You can sign up now if you want to attend in person. 4-day event, meet and greet on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, classes, workshops, and speakers, presentations from 9 to 4 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday night, we return in the evening around 8 p.m. We have a group ritual, followed both nights. We have a group dinner, and we just hang out and kick it and have some fun, listen to some music and eat. And so it's a combination of fun, learning, rituals. And then we close the event out on Sunday, noon to 4 p.m. And this is October 19th to the 22nd. And I'll be doing a question and answer class to close the event out. You can attend in person, or you can also attend virtually, which gives you access to the 3 classes on Friday, all the classes and workshops on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Shoot me an email requesting what information you want, or both, and I'll send that information to you. Also, remember, all this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is available on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, etc. And also the direct link to the podcast is in the description box of this video. So if you want to now download the audio files of this information while you're exercising, driving, or just doing shit around the house, you can now tune into the podcast and get your knowledge on, as they say, right? Get your knowledge on. Anyway, so I want to talk about not the same subject as the last video, but it's kind of connected. I want to continue this discussion. I want to talk about I think I'm going to title this video pretty much, the universe is one big, or I should say the multiverse is one big vibrational frequency. And I do want to connect some of this information, not to all, but to some of what we know in the Kabbalion by the 3 initiates as the 7 Hermetic principles. I'm going to explain to you how you awaken your consciousness, all these things we're talking about, how you can open that or activate that third eye, as they say, how you connect with spirit and deity if you really understand the science and the formula. We always talk about having some type of spiritual experience. We always talk about how do you know you're connecting or communicating with the spirits. All these different things come up. Well, the 7 Hermetic Principles, if you've known me for years, for an example, again, this is not a video on the 7 Hermetic Principles, but there's a couple of them that's going to be integral to kind of proving my point of what I'm talking about today. But I always suggest for somebody starting out on the occult, anytime a brand spanking new beginner reaches out to me and always asks me, what's some good books to start with? Well, if you were one of them in the past, you know that's one of the books I told you to definitely start reading. Because the 7 Hermetic Principles are foundational steps. Step 1, how magic works, how the universe works, and how your consciousness works. Obviously, the first principle, all is mental, mental is all, the universe is mental, right? Ties into how, what I was saying in the previous video, how you receive light or intellect or knowledge. I've talked in videos in the past over the years that all consciousness is that energy or frequency of light traveling at mass speeds. They're able to send consciousness in waves of energy over various levels of speed. This is how they're able to program you. So programming can be a good thing and a bad thing, because when you're programming yourself with the right things, that obviously can alter your vibrational frequency and your energy. But when you're being constantly programmed against your will, and they're able to do this and send amounts of information in a matter of seconds. This is why technology is getting out of control. It's a great aspect to it, a bad. They got the artificial intelligence now where they can replicate consciousness on all forms. Duplicate it on all forms. Right? They're able to send information in real time in the blink of an eye, flash of seconds. With all this streaming capabilities, Wi-Fi speeds, and that's what Wi-Fi basically is, right? It's constantly sending downloads, not just to devices and computers, but to the consciousness of human minds, right? Everything that you're understanding, your existence, everything in the universe and universes that are connected to it, all ties into your understanding or lack of vibrational frequency and energy. You hear me talk about this all the time. This is why I'm huge on using mantras and chanting in ritualistic work, because mantras and chanting focus on your vibrational frequency energy. Because like in alchemy, right? And that's why I used the 7 Hermetic Principles. In Hermetic philosophy or alchemy, one is taught in order to awaken, have that divine, I'm just using terminologies that's mainstream, but to have that divine awakening, one must make themselves less dense. Okay? And as I've said many times over the years in different classes and videos, that density is what calcifies the pineal, and it cuts off from you receiving those frequencies or those energies. You can find in many videos, many books, many people will tell you, as I said earlier, that pineal gland is like an antenna. And when the antenna is not tuned in to receiving the signals, it doesn't receive the energy of the message. Well, your pineal is the same way. When your mind is constantly being, I like to use the word infiltrated, not just indoctrinated, because they're trying to infiltrate our minds through fear, through creating anxiety, levels of stress. They're trying to create an environment around us where we can't focus. So if they use that emotion of fear to control the way we think, how we feel, and how we respond, that automatically is going to create a level of density, number one, and number two, it's going to create high levels of calcification. So all of these things that weigh you down make you less dense. And as I've said many times before, thoughts, people carry weight. If you don't believe that, you're foolish. Just think how certain thoughts make you feel. It's the energy from it, right? Something good happens to you, whatever you label as good. It could be you made a good amount of money. Let's keep it real. You got some good pussy, or or something good. You're going on a vacation, something that makes you feel good and happy. You feel it in every core of your being. If it's some form of pleasure or something that you're growing, it could even be something spiritual. When you tap in, it affects you and you feel a certain way mentally and emotionally. When it's something that you perceive as positive, uplifting, or personal on a level like that. Okay, now think of the flip side. Think of how you feel, the weight of the emotions and energy of something that you label as personally for you as negative or bad or fucked up. Something that might got you real hot or angry. Or you're going through a situation in life, could be financial struggles, personal issues, relationship issues, issues raising your kids, problem with your kids, just or any of those life situations or problems that stress you the fuck out and weigh you down. Think of how that makes you feel. Think about how that fucking throws off your energy and can mess with your focus, your concentration. So you can't say energy it carries weight. I'm sorry, thoughts carry energy. I said that reverse. Let me correct myself. You can't say thoughts don't carry energy, and it has a certain effect on you that it weighs you down. It could take you out of your out of sync, out of frequency. It can just throw your whole fucking shit off. And believe it or not, if you're overly stressed out or you're really dealing with high levels of stress, anxiety, you have to be careful because it can lead and start to affect you physically and lead to personal health issues. Stress can lead to serious illness. They call stress the silent killer, where stress can start ripping your nervous system apart, your immune system. And the fucked up thing about it is there won't be a lot of symptoms to diagnose. If you know about stress or you dealt with anybody that was dealing with I'm just talking about if it gets that bad, clinically diagnosed stress. I went through it personally with my older son's first mother. I'm not going to get into detail. I saw it firsthand. Stress is the silent killer. You could be falling apart health-wise. Doesn't show up. A lot of it doesn't show up on tests and, blood work and all that shit. So this is deep because spiritually, this could start to transition and affect you physically, including your health. All right? And it's all tied into how dense we are or are not and our vibrational frequency and energy. Are we in tune with our true frequency, energy, tone, vibration, which this is huge in a lot of the spiritual practices we use. And this is why, again, I love to use mantras and chanting in a lot of rituals I create. For some of you that have been on the Patreon page doing the rituals with me for a while, you see we utilize that consistently. I'm not saying we use it every single ritual. We use it almost pretty much. Because when like I said, when you're doing mantras and chanting, now there's two things to pay attention to. One, as I said before, you've got to find your right pitch, your right tone, your right frequency. You know when you've hit that. Like I said, you can use the A to F note on a keyboard, a piano. Yes, you can can you download an app with a keyboard? Yeah, whatever you need to do. And just use a basic mantra or chant. I've given you guys the Om, A-U-M. You can use Om. You can use Om, right? I've even given you a Rosicrucian chant, Rah, Mah, Om. Vibrate it and hit those notes A to F, okay? You'll hear yourself, the pitch and the tone that it will connect with, okay? For the most part, you're going to find out for the most part. Women usually are higher octaves, A, B, maybe the high C. Now, there might be some women that, let me stop. But you get the point. Men are usually C on down to D, between D major and E, sometimes very deep, for the most part, okay? Once you got that ear, that inner ear gives you identify that specific tone, this is the tone you should start doing your mantras and your chanting. And now you'll notice when you're doing it, even a simple, most famous chant that everybody does in multiple different spiritual paths, the Om chant. Start with that one, very basic and simple, right? When you are hitting that correct vibrational frequency and tone, you'll see right where the pineal is at the bridge of the nose, and the pineal, you'll get a tingling sensation. You'll feel it clear as day. A very noticeable and sometimes intense, feels tingly, like you can feel the vibrational energy. That's how you know you're stimulating and activating to a certain degree that pineal. This is why it's good to practice regular mantras and chanting. Okay? Because it's the vibrational frequency of the tone that you are using sound-wise with your mouth, right? In that fashion, when you're doing it repetitively, you start to hit a certain pitch. Now, I also said when you do this in a group, you will notice two things. And sometimes it happens when you're doing it by yourself. Because when you hit a certain frequency or a certain pitch, you can open portholes or dimensions where literally other beings come through and join you in that chanting and mantra. This can happen solo, but it tends to happen a lot when you're doing it in a group with 3, 4, 5 or more people, or a larger group. It literally sounds like there's a large amount of people in the room with you doing it, right? Because what's happening is you've sped up your frequency, that you have now made yourself less dense, where you've opened yourself to become receptive to these spiritual beings. And I'm just using that as a whole, because it depends on what path that you work. This is how you connect with deity and spirit. This is how you have your experience in your ritual work. Okay? It's about how fast your vibrational frequency is. But here's the deep thing. Well, it's not really deep, but here's the foundational understanding. It all starts in the subjective consciousness of your mind. Because in your subjective consciousness, right, is where even when you go into the deep aspects of your subconscious mind, is where the real you truly resides. The you that's not confound to a 3-dimensional existence and understanding. So there in your subjective consciousness, you're able to tap in because you're not limited to things that are controlled by 3-dimensional things, which is person, place, and thing. You're vibrating outside of a frequency that's 3-dimensional when you have the ability to tap into the power of your mind, especially your subconscious mind. So when we say, oh, it's mental is all, the universe is mental, right? You formulate everything on that mental plane. You have to think it into existence before it can come into your objective consciousness. Now, I've said this before over the years, and if you haven't heard it, just think of something so simple. Today is today, right? And my next video, I'm almost certain, is going to be on time and the illusion of it, because this will segue it perfectly. Just think of what I'm saying, this concept. Think of how you utilize it, and you're not really paying attention that you utilize it. So today is today. Most people later in the day, or could even be at some point during their day, as the day winds down, they start to visualize what they got to do tomorrow. I don't care if it's you run a business or you go to work or you're off tomorrow, any of those things. You start to, at some point, contemplate and visualize, when we get up tomorrow. You might even think about, I'm going to wear this, or, I got to go do this, or I got several stops. And you're already playing out in your mind, I'm going to stop here at 10 o'clock, then I'm going to slide over there, finish that, then I got to run up over here. You are literally creating. It hasn't come yet. Well, technically, I'll talk a little bit more about that in the time video. It hasn't come yet, but you've already mapped the whole thing out. You played the whole scenario out. You visualized it, and then the next day comes, you carry it out as you visualize it. You just, whether you're aware of it or not, you just performed magic. Now, why can't you do that with every other facet of your life? Why can't you see yourself doing what you want to do, being what you want to be, achieving what you want to achieve? Why is it you can do it on simple, mundane levels? Because your mind has been programmed to think that's something, minor and small, like a task, or it's not as big as some big goal or objective I'm trying to accomplish. Bullshit. You are the one creating that blockage. That's you creating that. So if you missed it, just as simple as the day was, I said, tomorrow I got to run to the grocery store, then I got to go take care of that, I got to go pick up this, then I'm going to go 3 o'clock over there, and then later, you mapped out your whole day and visualized, saw yourself doing it, whether you're aware of it or not. Why is it it's easy to do that, but you can't visualize who you really are and start mapping out your destiny and what you want to become? So you go, well, now you find every excuse in the book of why you can't. right? You could sit there and people do it. Just go. I'm saying this because it goes to show how deep the program is. We'll come up with multiple reasons why we can't. But then when I ask you, give me one reason why you can, you will struggle to sit there, ponder, and think. And you have no answer because you've been programmed like that. They program us to fail. They program us to be sheeple. They program us to wait to be told what to do. And that keeps us in conformity and in alignment with their agenda. So until you, one, start thinking outside of that perspective, nothing really changes. And if you understand, it starts there, quote unquote, on the mental plane and how you formulate your thoughts, it's going to affect how your vibrational frequency is. So people that are disconnected, where the pineal is calcified, they're not connected to their spirituality, maybe they're just lost out in the world, just chasing worldly things, not nourishing their spiritual, body or spiritual self. They become what you call low vibrational frequency beings. The lower a frequency something vibrates at, the easier it is to manipulate and control. Now remember, as I said before, as a magician, what you are doing technically as a magician, you are manipulating energy. If consciousness is energy and magic is energy, is not one aspect of magic manipulating the understanding of that consciousness? Because as I said before, you can't destroy energy. Where does it go when you destroy it? Energy can never be destroyed. It can only be manipulated. And what they've been doing to us from day one is manipulating our energy field. If you look at your existence and who you are, you make up all these particles and subatomic particles. You are a construct of this energy. When you're vibrating at a low frequency, you're just in a more solid form, so you take on what you're seeing as this human physical body. But if you sped up your vibrational frequency, you would dissipate and evolve back into that energy, as some call it ether, or they call it ether. You can look at this two ways. Some refer, the Rosicrucian order, they refer to it as ether and the vital life force, right? Some will refer to it when you hear the term energy bands, that's basically what they say. And now ether is a gas, right? So we're talking, now ether is also found, we know it's a component here on the physical planet also as a gas. And if you know how ether operates and how it's activated, it's literally a gas that energy can be activated. Well, when you come from that ether or etheric state or etheric existence or vital life force existence, for lack of a better word, right? You are vibrating at such a high frequency that this is what we mean when we say the spirits are energy, right? The deities are energy. People always use this term, I like to work with the Lucifer energy. What do you mean? I like to work with the Lilith energy, right? What do people mean when they really say that? Do they understand? As I've showed you many times over the years, I use my finger because I'm driving. If I have an object, my finger, the faster I start going side to side with this finger and speed up the rapidness of the vibrational frequency, as it gets to a certain speed where you can't see it in solid form anymore. Well, this is the same thing with spirits, demons, gods, goddesses, and you. The only way you're going to understand that is when you have your out-of-body experience, astral traveling, is when you're vibrating outside of that three-dimensional existence of person, place, and thing. It says in the Hermetic tablets, can we travel the above and the below while in human form? This is the questions the students asked Hermes in the temple. Because remember, when you read the Emerald Tablets and that whole scenario of these students questioning Hermes, he's showing them how they are so sucked in to their mortality that they've been cutting off, rejecting, and not acknowledging the God or the divinity within. Because when you read that dialogue, It's a constant back and forth of doubting questions that they're asking Hermes in the temple. And then they ask stupid shit. Is the buffalo, you mean God and the devil? Right? And that applies today because people, look, God, devil, humans, everything's taught to you in 1, 2, 3s. Person, places, and things. Heaven, hell, human. God, prophet, followers. Everything's taught to you in ABCs, 1, 2, 3s in repetition, because in that repetition, there's programming, which again, could be a good thing and a bad thing, because reprogramming is essentially what you're doing. So you're doing a form of programming, but put the re in front of it. Another aspect of magic is reprogramming the subconscious mind. So this is why I say programming can be good or bad. It just depends on what kind of programming you are downloading to that information or drive. And as I've said many times before, don't get it twisted. Your subconscious mind is like the hard drive on a computer. Everything you expose it to, it absorbs it and it stores it in the subconscious, which is the hard drive of your mind. Just like on a computer, sometimes you store stuff in files. You got to search to find it, right? It could get buried. You can't remember. You put it in a certain file or it gets moved somewhere else. It's kind of almost how your mind works sometimes. But keep in mind, you could also program a computer and give it a virus, right? Because what happens when a computer, the hard drive gets infected by a virus? It doesn't operate correctly. Well, they've been doing that for years. They've been trying to inject all types of viruses in the deep aspects of your subconscious mind to put you asleep. So you don't have that awakening. And they know how to do it. As I said, this whole Wi-Fi shit and technology, they can send waves of energy and consciousness in the snap of a finger. Don't you know that cell phone you carry? And please don't get spooky. I'm on a cell phone right now. But look, if you're aligned with your energy and spirit, and you're connected to your spiritual energy, I don't worry about all that conspiracy shit. It's irrelevant to me. But let's just say your phone has a tracking device on you, and you can turn off the GPS location. They can still ping your phone to go to show you how energy and consciousness travels. Every time you go onto Google or a search engine and search something, you're downloading a satellite. Why do you think all of a sudden, a lot now recently, you go Google something, and don't tell me these phones don't monitor who you are, where you are, and who you're around. Because it's obvious when you search something, then you go on to any platform or site, it comes up. You could search sneakers, Nike sneakers. All of a sudden you go on to Facebook or Instagram, advertisements start popping up for sneakers. They see your search engine. They scan through your profile. They see what you're Googling and what you're searching. And they want to influence what you eat, how you dress, the decision-making process on a daily basis. You're opening up satellites. It's the same thing. Check this out. If they're not connecting to your phone, I know a lot of you guys have seen this a lot recently. You got people that will pop up, for an example, in your Facebook feed as friend suggestions. And these are people you don't even really know like that. For an example, I'll give you an example with me. I get people popping up as suggested friends, for an example, at a lot of these ice hockey rinks and games that my son plays at. How in the world, I don't have their phone numbers, majority of them. I don't contact with, I don't talk with them like that. I don't know any of them on that level. How in the world does that come up as a friend suggestion? Only one way. Not only are they're connecting your satellite tracking device in your phone to those that are next to you. So it's automatically registering that you know that person in some shape, form, or fashion. This is fact. A lot of you know this. So they've been doing that shit for a long time, but they upstepped it. How do they do this? Because you're carrying a satellite with you. They can connect to the location of your satellite. And then once they connect to the location of your satellite, they can connect to other satellites around you. So Facebook makes the assumption that you know all these people. I'm telling you, I get this all the time. And I'm sure there's tons of you. Shoot me an email, validated. I'm sure you guys see this shit on the regular now. This is a normal thing. I'll be seeing the guy that drives the Zamboni that cuts the ice. I'm like, I don't even talk to this dude. How the fuck is he coming up as a suggestion? And I'm not even friends with anybody on Facebook that knows him. That's the other crazy shit. So sometimes people go, well, maybe it's because there's somebody that's... No, bullshit. But still, how would they know to single out that person if I don't have them in my contacts? I've never communicated with them at all. There's no trace of them in my phone. Contact this, that, or the other. But how in the world do they come up as a suggestion? I mean, I know how. I'm just rhetorically posing the question. I know how. It's a satellite you're carrying around with you, and they can tap into that satellite anywhere they want. I told you, and again, I don't want to use the C word a lot, the COVID. I told you that COVID shit, but that really was about part of it. That whole wear a mask and stay 3-4 feet apart, whatever it was, that was just to see if they could detect your profile with your face covered on radar being an X amount of feet apart. They were testing technology. The military uses it. The military has radar devices connected to them so they can keep track of the soldiers, but you need to be apart of X amount of feet in order for that to work. So this is what they were doing. They were testing how we would respond in situations like that. And unfortunately, it may not be the last. Okay? But don't fool yourself. All of this is linked to energy, vibrational frequency, thoughts, how you perceive those thoughts, how you take that energy in, how you filter that light, how you receive it. Everything I was talking about in the last video. Don't let them bullshit you. You got to really be on this path and be on your God shit and your goddess shit and really understand what this path is about. Get out of all that aesthetic shit. This is why I go hard on all that aesthetic and traditional shit where people still want to grovel and worship and they still want to do external bullshit that's not going to get you anywhere. We are not worshiping anything. We are a manifestation of that which was worshipped. Do you understand that? You should always be looking within. So step one, to break that spell of indoctrination, stop looking outside of yourself for salvation. You will never find it. Stop looking outside of yourself for the answers to your problems. You will never find it. That's part of their plan of indoctrination and control. So if they could have you looking over here, over there, and out there, then man, it's cake, it's gravy. It's easy to control you. But their biggest fear is when you start to wake up and they say, man, the divine has always existed within me. The God I've been looking for has been here all the time, and he or she never went anywhere. And then it's time to go to work. Again, this path isn't what people think it is. The Luciferian philosophy, the Lucifer energy, who and what Lucifer is, who the adversary is, it's not all that bullshit you see in Hollywood and movies and religion and on the internet and amongst all these conspiracies. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Trust me when I tell you. Okay? You've got to do the research for yourself. You've got to grow for yourself. You've got to obtain this knowledge, if anything, for yourself. Don't put your salvation in the hands of anybody but yourself, because you're going to get disappointed. Nobody can do this thing for you to get you where you need to be. It doesn't work like that, folks. Stop thinking you can pay folks. Stop thinking you can join some organization or group. Stop thinking that somebody else can do it all for you and it's all going to work out. It's not. The day I woke up when I said, I don't need any of that shit no more. I'm going to do this. I'm on that journey of isolation. I'm going to take that path that Azazel took. I'm going to take that, that journey on that path of solitude, of self-mastery, because that's the only way I'll be able to figure this shit out. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm at my destination. More to come. We'll keep these dialogue, these builds, these conversations going. Again, if you need to reach out to me for a reading or a consultation, hit me up at khnum19@gmail.com. Also, the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference in full effect. You can sign up. Same email. If you forget anything I said, emails in the description box of the video. And also, all this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. That also is in the description box, the link of this video. All right, in the description box, the link for the podcast. All right, we'll continue this dialogue soon. Infernal blessings. As they say, peace, love, and hair grease. No, I'm going to stop. We'll talk soon.